Thank you. Hello, I'm Alan. I'm an IT client engineer at Snap, and I'm here to talk about tips for avoiding Munki install loops. So let's see, we have some people here using Munki, and we're going to talk about install loops. So a lot of people here do use Munki. If you don't use it, here's just a very quick overview. It's a desired state tool. So basically it's like, we want this installed, make sure it's installed. It can install, it can update, it can remove. You don't even need to be actually installing a real thing. You can just run an arbitrary script using what's called a no package. One of the great things about Munki is it can be run kind of almost from anywhere. Like you can use a web server. A lot of people use like AWS or GCP. And everything's code. So if you want to put Munki into GitHub, there's a great way to kind of keep track of all the changes that are happening in there. Okay, since it is a desired state tool, you kind of need to have a match between what Munki is doing to install it and then Munki determining that it is installed. If there is a mismatch there, you're going to get an install loop. And there are a few reasons why that's bad. So obviously one is your users are going to notice. They'll keep getting notifications and be like, hey, I installed this thing and Managed Software Center is bugging me again and I'm installing it again. So that's not great. It's not great for the user because they're interrupted. It's not great for IT because it makes you look bad. Sometimes it can be not just confusing to them to get notifications, but if you're ever in sort of bootstrap mode or at the login window, I mean, they basically essentially can't log in unless they know a cool like keyboard shortcut to kill Munki, which there is one. I won't go over that now. And then log in. But you don't want them to be in a situation where they're just not able to log in and Munki just keeps installing the same thing over and over again. These are kind of lesser issues, but they're still there, which is that you just don't want unnecessary processes running. It's not like Munki is super CPU intensive, but why have it just keep doing the same thing over and over again? Similar thing, like maybe your install loop is just like 5 kilobytes, but you know, I don't know, maybe it's a 13 gigabyte installer, who knows what it is, but if it keeps reinstalling, it's not going to be great on bandwidth either. Okay, this is potentially the most important wiki article in Munki. I hope I'm not being controversial by saying that, but a lot of the questions that come up on the Munki channel and the MacAdmin Slack are about why is this thing happening? And this wiki article basically goes into, and I'll kind of go through each one in detail, but there are essentially 4 different ways that Munki determines if something's installed. If it's on demand, basically Munki thinks it always has to be installed. Install check script is just like an arbitrary script that you can just determine based on exit code. It will be installed, or it is installed, or it's not installed. Configuration profiles, sorry, just those are totally gone by the wayside. There used to be this emulation feature you could use in Munki, but with Munki 7 coming out soon, that's going away completely. There's also installs items array that are essentially like, does this file live in this place with this hash, or does this app bundle live in this place with this version? And then lastly, there's receipts, which is whenever you install a package, there's like a little receipt that says this package was installed. I like to think of it as like, you go to a store, you buy a pack of gum, and then they give you a receipt that says you bought a pack of gum. And so even if you eat the gum, there's still a receipt there. Same deal with a package. You install the package, even if you delete the package payload, the receipt's still there that says this was installed at one time. Okay, so we're going to go through each of these in detail, and then I'm going to do a little live demo, which I hope goes well. We'll see. So on demand, you just need to remember it's only for optional installs. So if you have it for an optional install, it actually can be helpful in the sense of Munki doesn't care whether it's installed. So you might use it for something like, I don't know, like sysdiagnose. Like if you want to have people generate a sysdiagnose and you don't want to have them say, oh, go to the terminal and type in sudo sysdiagnose and do all these things. Like you could just have an entry in Managed Software Center that just runs it for them. And then Munki doesn't care if sysdiagnose is installed because it's not installing anything, it's just running something. Similarly, you might use it for if you have Munki install printers, because if you have Munki care whether the printer's installed, and I know this from experience at a previous job, that users can get very confused because they'll install printer with Managed Software Center, not know that they need to use Managed Software Center to remove the printer, and then they'll go into system settings, delete the printer, and then it'll come back because Managed Software Center will be like, hey, this printer's gone. I need to reinstall it. So there might be certain use cases you have for wanting an on-demand thing. You might even have certain managed installs, like, I don't know, certain critical applications you have that if it's a managed install, it won't appear in Managed Software Center, but you might want to have a semi-duplicate package info that just says you can reinstall this on demand, and that would be a great case for on demand as well, but always optional. Okay, install check scripts. I've actually run into this a few times myself where I have very cool script that runs and it does all the things I want it to do, except that I have only exit 1. So Munki always thinks it's installed, or I have only exit 0. So Munki thinks it's never installed. So you just have to make sure that no matter how many different scenarios you have in your script, there's at least one case where it's exit 0, not installed, and at least one case where it's exit 1, it is installed. Okay, installs arrays. We were just talking about Adobe. So most of the time when you get a package, if you open it up in suspicious package, you can see what the package payload is, and it'll tell you we're delivering these files to this location. For certain packages, that's not the case. So you actually have no idea what's being delivered. So you just want to be careful and just make sure that if you have an installs array that says, I'm looking for this thing at this location, that it actually delivers it to the location you think it's going to deliver it to. So sometimes, I don't know, for certain applications, you might actually have to install the app to get the best installs array. Unless you want to somehow try to deconstruct whatever Adobe's doing. Another thing is if there's a checksum for an installs array, does it match? It should. If that doesn't match, you might get into an install loop as well. We're gonna see this in the live demo as well, but if you're using Munki package, how many people are using Munki package to manage stuff? Okay, there's a fair number of people. You have all of your package source kind of living somewhere on your computer. If you then build it and you make your installs array based on where it lives on your computer, that's not where it's going to live on everybody else's computer. So then you can get an install loop there. So I'm delivering like set doc to user local outset login once, but then Munki in this scenario would be looking at for on everybody's computer as users, Allen documents, Munki packages, doc scripts, etc. Okay, I'm not going to cover this in the live demo, but I figure it needs a shout out because I see this sometimes on the Mac admin Slack. There are certain meta packages that will include little sub packages, and you're not always installing all the sub packages. So that's just something to keep in mind, that if you have, I don't know, sometimes it's like printer drivers, or if you're using like the gigantic Microsoft Office installer, there might be certain packages that you're not installing. You just want to make sure you mark those as optional, because otherwise Munki's going to be like, hey, all the receipts are not all there. So that's kind of a brief overview. And then we're going to go to live demo. So let me do this. Okay, so I've got a VM here that's both a Munki server and a Munki client. So there's one part of this that I'm going to have to cheat for a little bit. Okay, so this is my Munki package source. I'm creating a package that delivers these two wallpapers, Capybara Sun 1 and Capybara Sun 2. I'm going to go ahead and make this package. Here, go ahead and import it into the Munki repo. Okay, I've imported the capybara package into the repo. So here it is, right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and make this an on-demand. And then I'm going to add it to site default as a managed install. All right, so right now there are no desktop pictures in here. I'm going to go ahead and check for some updates. I don't know if anybody can see that. And if you look here, it says this is an on-demand item. It must be installed. Because it's a managed install, this is where I'm going to get the install loop because it must be installed. And so Munki's going to keep doing it every single time. So right now I have this here. I'm going to go ahead and run auto. Should go ahead and install the pictures here. Great. Install the pictures. But because it's on demand, next time I run it, it's going to be like, what? We need to reinstall this because it must be installed. So you go here. This is an on-demand item. Must install. If I, however, switch it to optional, which is what it should be if it's on demand, then it'll actually work as intended. So we go in here and we see that it is an on-demand item. Instead of saying it must be installed, it says it's an on-demand item and it's in the optional install list. So nothing is pending in here. It's just there. I can install it if I want to. All right, let's put it back. And we're going to mark it not on demand either anymore. Okay, next I'm going to go with an install check script. So I have this written up. Oops, hold on. Keyboard shortcuts are betraying me now. Okay, I don't know if you can all see this. There's only one exit code here. So what's going to happen? I'm seeing that there might be an install loop. It's actually the opposite. In this case, exit 1 means that Munki's never going to install this because it's always going to be considered installed. So I'm going to go ahead and go here. I'm going to just delete these. And then I'm going to go ahead and run check here. And if I go back here, you can see, uh-oh, this doesn't exist. Uh-oh, this also doesn't exist. But Munki's happy. It's like, you know what? Those two don't exist, but we consider it installed. So that's not great. The other thing we can do is the opposite, which would in fact result in an install loop, which is to have only an exit 0 situation. So we do this and just say, oops, sorry, do this here. This doesn't exist. Exit 0. So in this particular case, we'll see that it wants to install it. So it's saying, uh-oh, we don't have this. Install check returns 0, so we need to install it. You can see here our desktop pictures folder is empty, so we're going to go ahead and install it. So it should pop in there. Capybara. But because we have only an exit 0 scenario, it actually will want to reinstall it again. So say, yep, we have this. Yep, we have this. but the install check script returns 0, so Munki doesn't think it's installed. So we can make it happier. We can put in both scenarios. Just put in exit 1. So what this is essentially doing now is just saying if this picture doesn't exist, exit 0. If this picture doesn't exist, exit 0. If we get to the end and both pictures haven't complained, exit 1. So we do that, and we see both pictures are there right here. This should be happier. And there we go, we've got it. This picture exists, this picture exists, Munki considers it installed. Okay. All right, so we're going to take the install check script out of there. Now for the, I use command line tools a lot, but I also use Munki admin a lot. Ooh, bless you. If you have never used command line tools for this before, you can get installs array by just using make package info. And you could say make package info f this file, and then this file, and then it'll give you an installs array that you can put into your package info. If you're using Munki admin, you can just drag the files in there. So you can go to contents and just say, these two, pop them in here. And right away you can kind of see what the problem is, which is the path it's looking for is users Alan. And so if users, anybody else is there, users Jessica, users Bartholomew, whoever, it's not going to be there. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in there. And because my VM is both the server and a client, I'm actually going to cheat a little bit here because on the client, it does exist at users, Alan, documents, etc. So I'm actually just going to move this somewhere else. So let's do that. And I'm just going to delete this so we can do a clean start here. So it doesn't exist on that folder. Check here. It's looking for this path, which is definitely not going to be there. And we install it. Pictures should pop in here. There we go. And then we're going to get an install loop here because it's looking for the path that doesn't exist. So again, it's looking for users Alan documents, and here it's actually in library desktop pictures. But we can fix that. So if you, I'll show you both ways. If you like your text editors, which I also like, you can go in here, you can just manually delete this whole bit. If you like using Munki admin, you can also do it in Munki admin as well. Just kind of go into contents, double click this, get rid of the payload there. And then we should see that Munki is happy again and sees that it's installed. So if you look here, it's looking now at the proper paths, and then yay, capybaras. So thanks so much, everybody.